Greetings everyone, I hope you're all well. So today is the 4th of June and as promised I said I was going to do another propagation station V2, version 2. So this is going to be that video. Okay, so last year we purchased a kind of greenhouse type thing. It's more like a wooden cabinet, and that was purchased from Homebase. I am in no way associated or affiliated with Homebase. This is more of a warning, if anything. I'll show you a picture of it here. It didn't last the winter, basically. I purchased it at the end of summer last year, and it didn't last. By January, it was literally falling apart. It was warping. Bits of wood were falling off. Winters here in the UK, as many of you know, are pretty dull and depressing. They're very dark, very wet, and very windy. And so this unit didn't even last probably like 3 or 4 months, being generous. But cutting the long story short, I did complain to Homebase about it, and I sent them some pictures, and they was like, oh well, that's not very good then, was it? So they actually were very accommodating, and they were very apologetic, and they could tell that it wasn't really fit for the purpose of what it was intended to be used for outside during winter. So they basically gave me a refund, and they told me just to dispose of it. So rather than dispose of it, I thought, well, okay, I can probably strip it for the wood and use the wood for little projects like this one. Hey. So basically there was a couple of shelves in there, and each shelf had a number of slats, and these are the slats from each, from one of the shelves really. And basically all I've done is I've basically cut the slat length in half, so we've got like an equal length. And for this propagation station, I'm only going to be using 3 of these slats, these 3 here, and this one I've marked up as a spare, because the way my day's going, anything is possible, and anything that could go wrong will probably go wrong. So I'm already prepared for that. Thank you, universe, if you're going to have a go at me today. But anyway, so I've got these 3 slats here, and what I've done, I've also, I don't know if you can see them on the camera, I can't see because of my glasses and my eyesight, but here I've sectioned the ends off about 20 millimeters on the end here. So that's and I've basically found the center point of those 2 kind of rectangles at the end there, and these are going to be drilled just with a hole, and what I'm going to be doing is putting some jute through that hole, and the remainder I've divided up into 4 equal sort of like squares, if you like. So there's 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then I've just literally just gone corner to corner each side to find the middle points, here, and here. And the next stage is going to be basically drilling using a hole saw this time, not the router. I'm going to be trying to use a hole saw. I just hope it doesn't mash it up, but we shall see. So yeah, I'm going to be using a hole saw on the center points here, and here, to drill out a 35 millimeter hole, and that then will allow me to fit in some shot glasses, 4 shot glasses, just some cheap ones that have been sort of like lying around doing nothing. So again, upcycling, recycling. And the reason why I like these shot glasses is because they're a lot shorter. A lot of the propagation stations have very kind of long kind of tubes. I'll show you as an example actually, just give me a second. So this is from an actual propagation station off Amazon, for example. So it's quite a long kind of test tube type thing. I mean, they're pretty cool, don't get me wrong, these are ideal for most things, but they're a bit long for most of my purposes, because I only have, in most cases, probably half of that. in like with some cuttings, and so trying to put something of that size in something like this is a bit overkill, and it often falls down. Same with the yogurt pots, they're normally a bit too big, so they end up falling down, and you have to try and get the leaves out the water and all that kind of stuff. So that's why I kind of like shot glasses. I think I have got some to show you here. So for example, there's a little shot glass here. So you can see it's just a bit shorter when you consider that the actual base is here, so all this is just glass here, but it actually, that's where the bottom of the glass starts there. So it's actually roughly about, well, just under half the size of that, which is ideal for cuttings of this size. So like I say, if you imagine trying to put cuttings of this size in here, they'll just fall down and it'll be a pain to get them out. So that's why I'm using these little shot glasses. Nothing special, they just need to be tapered. Round would be ideal, because if they're not round you're going to have trouble. You'd have to route the holes like I did in version 1, where these ones are round, so I can use a hole saw, which would be super quick, I hope, and painless, I hope. I say I hope because, like I said, the day from hell is very much in full effect. So, yep, that's what I'm going to be doing, using a tapered shot glass, and I'm going to be using 4 of them. You can also use plastic shot glasses as well. Most of them will fit in, as long as they're round. Most of them will fit in, because 35mm seems to be like the kind of a general size that will allow you to drop it in, and you'll have a bit of space at the top just to stop it falling through completely. So it kind of holds a bit like that. So I've got some plastic ones which I'll show you later, which you can use, but if you don't like using plastic, or if you haven't got any, then ideally just get some glass ones and use those. Okay, so let's get cracking. Okay, so for this project I'm just going to be using a drill, and I'm going to be using a 35mm diameter hole saw. Now this one was from Amazon, just because it was convenient. And the thing you want to make sure, you want to check is before you use one of these, is make sure that the teeth aren't bent before you even start. Now the reason why I say that is because yesterday on my little travels I saw this from I think it was Aldi here in the UK, and I thought, oh, that's interesting. That was roughly about, the whole set here was roughly about the same price as just this one on its own. So after struggling with the packaging to get into it, as you can see, totally murdered the packaging there. This is what I found. So this is why I would just say, just to be cautious, and you know the phrase, you get what you pay for. Well, say no more. So I think you're the 35mm. Yes, you are. I mean, other than that, I mean, it's a pretty good set. You get a few different sizes, but if those are all like this, then they are going to be useless. So I don't know if you can see the problem with this one here, but we've got like an indent here, and then it sticks out here, so it's not going to be a very tidy finish, and it's just probably going to rip the wood to shreds and make a right mess. So I'm not even going to bother it. I'm not even going to entertain it. They're just going to go back. But that's Aldi for you. I mean, look at that there. Can you see that there? Yeah. So there you go. Make sure you get one that's sort of at least half decent. I mean, that one is not even totally brilliant. But we shall see how this pans out. But yeah, you get what you pay for. Okay, so the other thing you want to check for on your hole saw is the actual tip of this part here. Now, I don't know if you can see this, but it's not very sharp, it's not very pointy, if you know what I mean. It's quite rounded, which again is going to cause problems when it comes to lining this up with the centre points that I've marked here. So what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to actually pre-drill the holes with the same diameter drill bit. So it's 5mm in diameter, this part here, and I'm going to be using this drill bit, and you'll see the difference in the tip here. It's a bit dirty, but you can see that there's a very fine point on that, which is more precise. So all I'm going to do is basically drill each hole first, and then use those holes to help guide this in, and hopefully then we shouldn't have any problems. Hopefully. So in an attempt to try and make things as precise as possible, as much as I can, I'm going to be using just this really sharp pointy stick here that I've got, and where the X's meet, I'm just going to be just applying a bit of pressure here, and this will help when it comes to drilling the holes, just to ensure that they are as kind of centered as possible. So I'll try and do one at a time, and then I can always speed up the other process. So working with the first one, I'm going to have to adjust the camera because I can't quite get in there. So working with the first one, I'm going to try and align this drill bit with the hole there. Alright, so we're just going to also put something underneath that. If I can find something. Okay. So I'm just going to put this piece of wood under here as well, just so that it doesn't go straight through my desk, because that would be very silly. There we go. So this one will be the one for the twine, the jute, whatever. Let's do the other one now. Okay, now these are going to be the actual holes now for each of the shot glasses. Okay, hopefully they should be kind of aligned. I say hopefully, but I guess we'll find out now. So I'm just going to put the hole saw on now. I have to move the camera. So I'm putting the drill bit now actually in the hole, and that should give me a good starting point to get them all in line, hopefully. So there we go, 4 holes, and we've got the 2 little holes here for the jute. Let me see if I've got a shot glass just to have a look. So there we go. So that's the idea. So this will just be like one shelf. I need to do 2 more of these, and then we can get going and creating the whole thing. the 3 shelves now, all drilled, ready to go. The next stage is to basically put them all together into like a tiering shelf type thing using some jute. This is some 6-ply jute, which is roughly about 3mm in diameter. I've got quite a big length of it here, so which should be more than enough. So what I'm going to do first is get the very first shelf. I'm just going to pull that through to one end, and then with the other end feed that through the other hole here. And roughly we just want to make sure that we've got equal lengths over on this side here. So what I'm going to do is hold them here, carry on feeding that through here. And now that's where we're at the moment, and I want to create a kind of a hanging loop on this end here. So all we've got to really now just kind of work out is how much space you want between the top of your first shelf to the hanging position up here. Okay, so with the twine fed through both of the holes here and here, roughly somewhere in the middle of all of this jute, I've put a piece of wire here just to give me some idea of some centre point at least. So the first shelf is not going to be too important when it comes to your centre point, but the distances from the base of this shelf to the next shelf, that's when things need to be more precise. So that being said, I'm going to just roughly measure out about 20 centimeters from the middle point here to here, and then I'm just going to hold that mark and swap my hands, keeping that mark pinched there, and I'm just going to shuffle this shelf up to that point and pinch the back side of it. Let go here, push that up, replace it again, and make a loop here, and then feed the rest of that jute through. That's like the one half of the jute, hopefully. And here you want to keep hold of that with your left hand or your right hand, but in my case my left hand, I'm keeping that point there, and I'm pushing that knot as far up there without kind of moving and sliding it up here to that point. So there's the first one, and again I'll rotate it round, so finding the centre point on the other side, 20mm, and replace that there, shuffle the shelf upwards towards that point, pinch at the bottom, push the shelf up, replace, and then make the loop. Feed the other half through, keeping that point with my left hand while pushing with the right. So there we go. So hopefully now when I push that through, we have one suspended shelf, and that's on the underside, and the centre point is roughly about the same there. So that's one shelf done. So with the next one, this is where we need to be more precise, because if we get it out, the shelves are going to look a bit wonky on one side or the other. So the first thing I'm going to do is get the second shelf, make sure that the side I want facing upwards is facing this way. Get my first end, rotate it through. Just going to feed that all the way through, rotate that round and do the same with the other end. The next part will be deciding how much space you want between your top shelf and this shelf, and then the next shelf as well. So I will probably be doing mine maybe between 10 to 15 centimeters apart, maybe, because I'll be using shot glasses for mine. You don't have to use shot glasses if you don't want to, you can use whatever you like, but for my purposes I'll be using shot glasses, which are smaller. So from this point here, just make sure everything's right, which it is, cool. So I'm going to measure the base of this knot here, and I'll probably do it, I'll do about 12. So from the bottom of that knot to the next shelf, I'm going to mark it as 12. So I'm going to pinch it there, same as before, shuffle that shelf upwards, hold it with the other fingers, pinch it there and hold it, and replace, and then feed that through. Hold it again. Nice and tight. So that's the first one there. So again, let's rotate the whole thing around. And with the next one, 12, just there. You don't have to do it this way, I just find, for me, it's just easier to do it this way. You can do it however you like. Pinch it there, push the shelf up, and feed that through the loop. There we go. So that should now be first and the second shelf, like so. Okay, so that's the last two knots. With the last shelf, and then we've got some here at the end we can do something with if you wanted to. You could either tie a knot here and have just one dangly bit in the middle, or you could cut them off here and have one either side. That's entirely up to you. So let's have a look at that now. So there we go. There's the three shelves. Okay, so what I'm going to do with mine on the bottom, I've got some little skull beads here. So what I'm going to do with mine is actually feed some of those through here as well, and just to add a little bit of something to the end, so you know, make it yours, you know, and spice it up a little. You can put like beads further up as well if you wanted to, that's entirely up to you, but I'm just going to put some on the bottom here. I'm going to put the first one roughly about there, And then I'm going to tie a knot there, same as before. But whatever obviously you do on this side, it has to be symmetrical with the other side, otherwise it's going to look a bit odd. So there's the first one. And we all know that 3 is a magic number. So I'm going to be doing, I'll put 3 skulls on this side. Not as far up there as I can. There we go. Get it there. Get it in the hill. Like I said, you don't have to do it this way. You can use whatever you want, or you can just have none at all. It's entirely up to you. It's your little thing, you know, your little project. So, okay, there's the one. And now I'm going to have to try and repeat that on the other side. This is going to be fun. So again, I'm going to measure the base of this knot here to the top of the skull, maybe 40 millimeters, 4 centimeters, whatever. There, I reckon. Just going to do the same as before with the shelf. That's probably about the same. And then number 2. Number this is number 2, not bad. Getting ahead of myself there. Wait. Oh no, that's right. I wonder where you'd gone then. I thought you'd gone on holiday. There, so it's number 3. Oh, miscalculated there. I was in getting in a world of my own. Yeah. Again, making sure I get this knot as far down towards that skull there. Okay, there we go. So hopefully should have, yeah, 3 scores there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to measure a little bit off from the end here. I'm going to probably do, I don't know, let's do, we'll do 20 millimeters from the base to the end here. And I'm just going to literally cut that off there. And at this stage, I don't want to cause this to fray or anything, so just be careful with that. You could, if you wanted to, you could try and have it so that it's all like tassely or something, but I'm going to be doing a trick to make sure that it doesn't go all tassely in the end. So, but again, it's up to you how you want to do it. So 20 and snip. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is just try and burn away some of the frayed ends. Just like that. And again here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to wax the ends of these here to stop them unravelling and becoming sort of messy and frazzly like. So for this I'll be using some wax. You can use whatever you want for this if you like, but yeah, I always find wax works well. And some cold water. Giving away my secrets here now. So actually, let's just check that out. I'm just going to be using some cold water in this little container thing here. Oh, shall make sense in a minute. And also I've got a bit of washing up liquid here, and I'm going to put just a couple of tiny drops in there. And what this does, it breaks the surface tension on the water. That's all you need. Let's give it a stir. So what that will do is it breaks the surface tension on the water, so when it comes to dipping the hot wax in the water to cool it down, it prevents the water tension from actually pushing the wax and disrupting the surface of the wax, just by doing that. So there you go, little trick for you. So yep, so the next stage, I'm going to heat up this wax that I've got here, which is black. Again, you don't have to do this. This is just something I like to do to keep things tidy. Rotating it around, stop it from dripping, and just gives it a nice coverage, and then dip. And then you're good to go. Voila. There you go. So the next stage is the final stage, which is to actually put some glasses in there. So let's get to that. Okay, right then, so at this stage I'm going to be putting in some shot glasses, but these ones aren't glass, these are plastic ones I'm going to be using. I have ordered some glass ones, especially for this, but they won't come until tomorrow I think, so I'm going to be using these very colourful plastic ones, so yeah, just going to shove these in. Now being plastic they kind of do give a little as well, so you can push them in a bit further without too much effort. Like so. Okay, there's one. You can pretty much get these plastic ones from anywhere, like any supermarket or something. They're kind of like party ones, but I quite like the colours of them. So I thought, well, I can't get any glass ones. There seems to be a bit of a shortage everywhere I went, so I'll get some colourful plastic ones for now until I can get some. So I did try and not use Amazon, but it was just not meant to be. Final ones. There we go. So there it is. I want to hang it up somewhere now so you can see it better somewhere. Okay, there it is, hanging up on the wall. Got some cuttings here, different things to put in there. So I've got some little willow ones to try. Chillinois, we'll stick him in there. This is another type of willow, should be up there. And I can't remember what you are, I'm sorry buddy, but you can go in there. There we go. Wow. So there we go, that's V2 of the propagation station, which is a kind of a hang on the wall or hang on a hook type deal. You can have as many tiers as you want. You can customize it to whatever you want, put some beads in there, whatever you want to do. You can alter the amount of holes if you want to have more or less. Entirely up to you. So, but that's mine. That'll do for me today. And little school dudes, V2 done. I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. I hope you find it useful. And as always, take care of yourselves. And I'll see you again soon. See you guys. Bye.